Hey, this is Tyrese Anderson. What I want to talk about today is why old school rap is better than new school rap. Now, even though a lot of people have, particularly the younger generation, more specifically, have said that, well, that's subjective and so on and so forth. New school is not is not worse, is better, if anything, than old school. Old school's old, it's outdated, and blah 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 blah. I will for this video discuss logical, objective reasons why old school rap is better than new school rap. So let's get started with the first one. The first one is that the lyrics were better back in those days. Now, like, of course, anything in the world, there's always room for improvement. But the lyrics, compared to how they are now, were definitely better because the lyrics back then, you could actually understand what they were saying. They were rhyming, which is actually important for rap because that's what separates rap from every music genre when it comes to lyrics, particularly that and the rhyming creates a certain feel to it. It makes things better. So they were doing those two things, which should just be regular, but now it's hard to find anyone who does that. Not to mention the lyrics had a good story. There was a story, there was entertainment factor to it. Um Instead of like music now, you know, where it might be focused on it. So yeah, back to what I was saying. The music logically was better, at least easily when it comes to lyrics. Because when it comes to entertainment, the truth of the matter is that entertainment now means just having lyrics that are stupid. Talk about, oh, I bang like 5, 10 chicks and blah 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 blah. But yeah, like I was saying before, um, but back in the days, people made entertaining music, but it wasn't, whether this it was about materialism and stuff like that. Yes, I know a lot of people hate that, but truth be told, the music was entertaining and it had a good story that made sense and had a message. Like they might have, for example, somebody who talks about gang banging and all that stuff, and then later on, the end of the day, you see the effect it has on on the community, or more specifically the individual. And he might say, talk about the coolest, wickedest, sickest shit ever when it comes to being a gangster. And at the end of the day, he ends up dead, or he ends up getting screwed over. Or in the case of the community, you might later realize, like I was saying before, that the community's not doing that great or something. Like, you get the point. You get the point here. Fundamentally, you get the point. Regardless, they talked about it, but it had a message that actually was good, and they had a greater variety of messages, not just the same old. Either it's talking, it's just making stupid, unnecessary references all the time to being a gangster and all that type of stuff all the time, or just stupid relationship videos or relationship songs, I should say. It wasn't just that all the time. It's either relationship songs about relationships, how you go out of your way for a woman, or it's talking about like drill music, talking about shooting people and all that type of stuff. I could take out this many ops and all that stuff. So it definitely, when it comes to lyrics, was legitimately better. It had something for everyone. The variety was a lot bigger back then, even up to the 2000s. A good portion of the 2000s you can consider old school at this point. So the music definitely was better lyrically. Now, when it comes to beats, this is also very true about the beats. The beats were better because nowadays you listen to the beats. There's two reasons why the beats today suck. The first reason why beats today suck is simply due to the fact that a lot of times they don't even really use melodic instruments anymore. Like you can't even really hear the melody that much anymore. Like the song by Little Baby, We Getting Paid. You just pretty much just hear drums and bass. Like that's horrible. Like it's just not as good as it used to be when it comes to the sound of the actual beat itself. It's actually just not as good as it was. Even objectively speaking, who wants to just listen to a song, just listen to drums and bass all the time? That gets really old. Like this is the 21st century. This is not like some Native American powwow like hundreds of years ago or something. People don't want to hear that stuff all the time. It gets old and repetitive, you know. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like the music is just lame. It's the beat in this case, but the music in general is lame. But yeah, regardless, in this case, the beat sucks because the beat is just repetitive and just terrible. It doesn't sound that good because they don't use as much melodic instruments as they used to. Not to mention, the beats tend to all sound the same. They tend to have the same sound. You listen to one song, you've pretty much kind of listened to them all. But in the past, there was great variety. I do admit it could have been a bit better because rap, I think, has always kind of had that issue with making music that had kind of had the same similar sounding beat, but compared to now, it's even worse. And there was still variety, and you can obviously tell the difference between what region a person was. There's a difference in sound, and it's not just a case of because the world is more globalized now. It's because you had to be original back then. Just like I remember even growing up, people would ask you, okay, you want to become successful at something? Do you know how good you have to become successful at something? If someone were to say, I want to become good at something, people would say, you know how good you have to be? I remember even one time I uh, played some Beyblade game or something, or some competition, at some place. And I remember back then people said, oh my gosh, you have to be really good at this because you might be really good, but there's someone always out there better than you. You get smashed. You get smashed if you're not like really, really good. I remember experiences like that because that's the era I grew up in. You had to be really good at something. Nowadays, it's just simply how many friends do you know in real life? How much hype can you put around yourself? How much controversy and stupid stuff can you do to get as many people to listen to your music? And the beats the beats now as a result of that suffer because people are just like, okay, I'm just gonna rely on this artist. I'm just gonna use this method or something, or just be good at promotion, like use my name in the song and all that type of stuff. Just blah 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 blah. Make a bunch of beats, and eventually one of them is gonna pop off. That's how people think now. It's not like in the past where it was like, okay, you had to make sure your beat sounded really good. It's like that for lyrics and for beats. So truth be told, old school rap is definitely better than new school. New school stuff, it's objectively actually inferior. I know music. People say music is subjective and stuff, and blah 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 blah. But I will say, I have to admit, truth be told, people have different preferences. I cannot say personally myself, my preferences are better than yours. Neither can you say your preferences are better than mine. But truth be told, there's a difference between having different preferences and just having a fundamentally having a system that sucks. That's literally objectively sucks. Such as lyrics, you can't understand what they're saying anymore, or a beat where they don't even use melodic instruments that much anymore, at least for a lot of songs. So it's objective. It's objective. It's not subjective. It's not up for interpretation or any of that type of stuff. It literally actually was better. It's just obviously, truth be told, a lot of people, especially nowadays, want to feel all cool and stuff, because they're listening to new music. They don't want to feel like they're listening to something old and outdated or something. But truth be told, it objectively was better. I honestly hope the best for this new generation of musicians. I hope and I understand, of course, that music has to evolve in terms of sound. I'm completely aware of that. And no one's complaining about the fact that music's evolving in terms of sound. It's just that your music actually has to be good. It doesn't suck. And the music now sucks. It's not even up for debate anymore. It's definitely garbage now. So truth be told, this is my video. If you like videos like this, remember to hit the subscribe button and sum this video up. And this is all I have to say. So simply put it, later.